Hey guys, Chris here again with Project Nerf, and today we're going to take a look at what it takes to modify the Ultra Pharaoh. Let's get at it. Alright, I've saved everybody the agony of taking the 1,000 screws out of this thing. The scope itself just pulled out, which is cool. So it's just kind of a made-in scope ring. That's stupid, but whatever. Not too bad to get off of there. And you'll be able to see it better. I've got it setting in a tray because the priming handle is in it. But if I set it down like this, hopefully you can see the turtles a little bit better here. So the first thing we're going to look at is lock elimination. We've got one here, a lock that stops this from priming. Fully. Don't know what that spring is. It pushes the whole plunger tube forward, so obviously the plunger tube moves just a little bit when you prime it back. So if we can get this thing to roll over here, there we go. There's that, and we start to prime it back. Let's see if we can get it to do anything here. It's not caught, so. There we go. See, that lock was beating us up right there. So obviously that's going to come out. Right, it's a big geared mechanism. Now I can already tell this front assembly just lifts out. The magwell and front barrel is all one big piece here. Okay, on this side we've got the, you can see where this part of the plunger tube engages. That's all made on. This piece here, which folds the dart gate down, and it's pretty much a straight shot through the barrel at that point. Hopefully, yeah, you can see that. So probably not mess with that, but this whole front assembly is just one big piece, so that makes life pretty easy. At this point in time, the plunger tube will come out pretty easily. I've got 1 and 2 screws, and then 1, 2, 3 clips here. I guess it would help if I got the right type of screwdriver. So take these screws out. And hopefully nothing comes flying off at us. That would be bad. Push in the clips. There we go. I've already had that little cap off. This is a lock that prevents you from priming things. It just, the springs connect over this and this little flat tab here. That lock is, from the Grinch, is the first thing to go, which makes for a much smoother priming. You can see at this point in time that, whoops, I'm shooting stuff all over the world here. Not cool. My springs went for the ride. But these are big, heavy gears. Okay, there's a lock down here, but this whole plunger tube kind of slides out from behind. There we go. If there's a way to get that out, there we go. You can give that a twist and remove the whole plunger tube, which is cool. Let me grab my gear. That's going to go back on here like that. This is slider plate. Don't really know what purpose it serves other than to put things up, but it's going to go like that. The plunger tube, as you can see, has got tabs on both sides, which allow this, and that is a big spring in there. And I can tell you what we fired out of it. There's a little spring that fits right back here where my finger's at, that goes on this tab that pushes this forward and helps the breech stay shut. So we're going to have to come around down here and see if we can find our spring. There we go. There's the spring. So it goes on here and it sets in right behind this plate here. So The cap here is just a fit-on cap. We're going to get that off. And see if we can swap the spring. Hopefully nothing's solid welded. Nope, that popped off easily. I just put my little screwdriver under there and applied a little pressure and it opened right up. Maybe get a little smaller one for this side. There we go. Pop that. There's the plunger tube cap. It is non-directional. It doesn't matter which way it goes on. And that is a big, beefy spring. I mean, that's actually, I think, literally it's a K26, to be honest here. Floating plunger head. Priming bar, not dissimilar to a long shot, actually. It does have a little AR down in there, kind of sort of, that's designed to engage this nubbin on the back of the Ultra Dart. You can hit it, push all that BS backwards. The plunger tube, I don't know if you can see the O-ring on camera, it actually starts to take a little bite right there. So again, we're not, while that's a big plunger tube, it's not pushing a lot of air until it gets about 3/4 of the way down there. We'll put a little Teflon on it and seal that up extra. It's a good snug fit on the breech. There's actually like a tightening ring. I don't know if you can see it. Focus right in here. There's a little tightening ring that really makes the Ultra Darts a good snug fit, so that's cool. The catch mechanism and trigger are all one group here. There's a lock right here that prevents the mag release from being triggered, so that's probably going to come out. But let's take a look at the spring. Alright guys, this is a K26. And it's a full length. Here's the stock spring. And, K26 might be just a hair heavier, but it's not much. So, let's go ahead and plan on putting a piece of K26 in it, though I don't know that we'll get any improvement. But if we add a little Teflon behind this plunger head and remove some of these locks, I think we can do pretty well here. So, anyway, let's take a look and see what locks we can delete, and we'll go from there. Alright, so here is a lock in here. I don't even know what this does, to be honest. This is a trigger lock here, and this is a mag lock here. So we're going to take the mag release out. It's got one screw down in here. And it was tight. Very, to be honest. We get that out. That should release, there we go, the entire mag mechanism, and allow us to take this lock out. Come here, spring. Oh, that is not a wimpy little spring. Save that one, guys. That could be a catch for something, or so we're definitely going to hang on to that. And now the trigger group. Let's see what we can do about getting that out. I don't know if the whole thing will come as a unit. Doesn't seem that way. Looks like we're going to have to take these screws out here and here and open this up, because I really would like to get rid of that lock too. Now it seems like the whole thing wants to come out of there. There we go. Okay, so you remove the 2 screws and the entire, whoops, that's the trigger return spring, no biggie. The whole trigger group comes out. And that is a slide lock right here. Under my thumb, you can see it actually, when it's pushed in, actually locks the slide from coming back. So we're going to get rid of it too. So just take this top hat screw out. Let that lock out of there. That's not a great spring, but we're going to hold on to it too. So now, what do we have to do to get into this trigger group? There are clips here, here, and here. So let's see if we can pop those little tabs and get this to separate. There we go. Lift the trigger off. Take that out. Piece of cake. So this lock is going to go bye-bye as well. I'm going to put the trigger back in. That should just allow us to push the catch at our leisure. Yes, it does. Put the trigger group back together. And Bob's your uncle there. We have removed all of the locks from the blaster. Alright, there we go. Trigger groups back in. Okay, we can put the mag release back in. And it has spring as well. No lock there anymore. Alright, that's far forward. So we've removed all the locks from this thing, which should give us a much smoother prime, and so if we get any more power out of it at all, it'll be freaking awesome. So let's cut that piece of K26 and get it in there and see if we get some more power. Okay, see the stock spring goes in there pretty easily. We've got our K26 sanded out so that the K26 will go in. It's just slightly bigger than the stock spring. I really don't know how much heavier, to be honest. It's not going to be much. Let's put a little Teflon underneath this O-ring. Lots of ways to get these off. I like to use these kind of big tweezers and just go underneath it and take it off just like so. And we're not going to put much on here. A wrap, maybe 2. It's a nice wide channel in there, so no problems getting the Teflon in. That's 1. Let's go 2 wraps of Teflon tape. Just to add a little extra And there we have that. So we'll put the O-ring back on. There we go. Make sure all of that's still kosher. Okay, now we have the bigger task of dealing with this AR, and we may have to go old school here and break these tabs out inside the plunger tube. I know, hopefully you can see them. Right there's like 4 of them. Cut those out like in the stampede tube, and hopefully the AR will come out of it because we want it gone. Okay, so check this out. I managed to take this tube and okay, if you push this in and you kind of give it a squeeze, there's a kind of a gap right here. So if you kind of give it a squeeze, you can do that number and take the whole thing out of the tube, which is extra good because now we can get at it to cut these ARs out of here. And there we go. We got it cut out. Got that moved. I don't know what, if anything, will come from. I'm going to take our sanding burr and take these rough edges off and take the whole thing out. So we're going to go in here like this. And open that up around, and with any luck that'll be enough space for us to, there it goes. There it is. AR gone. That's nice and open. I see no need. The seal on this O-ring is actually very good in the plunger tube, so we're not going to mess with that at all. We're just going to put it back in there. So line up your tab, and again, maybe give it a little squeeze. But yeah, that's a good seal there. Now it's nice and open through there, so no more AR. So now, that seems to work pretty well. We're getting a pretty solid bite at about here now instead of up here, so push a little more air volume. Shouldn't have any trouble getting this cap to go on with that much pre-compression. This blaster had a bunch already. There we go. Whether or not it will catch, your guess is as good as mine. Alright, we've got this deal here again. See this square thing? That's going to line up. It was kind of a interesting apparatus. There we go. See, that went in there nice and tight. So again, you're gonna, hopefully it shows on the camera. Let's see if I can get it. So is this, you're gonna twist it over and then kind of lift it off like that. So in this case, to put it back on, slide it on and twist that back into place. Okay, so I decided after further review that I'll remove these locks as well. I got everything put it back in. I cut about 1 coil off the K26, which leaves it only about a half longer than the stock spring. I'm going to see if I can prime this and get it to catch. No, we're still short by about 1/8 of an inch. So at this point in time, we're going to have to take this back loose and either cut 1 more coil off of the K26, which is heavier, or I've got a piece right here that's pretty much the same length as the stock spring. I might try that. So anyway, I'm going to pull it back down, swap the spring, see if I can get it to catch, and then we'll put it back together and see if we got any improvement. Okay, I just sanded out the plunger head some more so the K26 would compress into it a little bit better, and it is catching. Just did that time. So our scope, you got this little tab that fits into the body right here at the tip of my finger. Hopefully you can see it. The rest of it just drops in there. It's really just that simple. So anyway, we're gonna try to blow all the spare pieces out of this thing and put the shell back together on it. Of cool. There's no jam door lock. Hopefully it doesn't give us too much grief. Seating and nope, that went back together pretty nicely, so we're going to put a few screws in it. There we go. Alright, so put a few screws in this thing and give it a test fire. Alright, so we've got our K26 spring in here, and I think it's a small increase, so we're going to see this thing crawling at a 104 average stock, so hopefully we get a little better numbers off of it. Let's go. Yeah, I'd say that's a bit of an increase. Let's take a look here. Alright, we did a 10 dart set with a high of 120, a low of 109, and an average of 115 FPS. So that's an 11 FPS increase to put the piece of K26 in here. So yeah, it's a good upgrade. Alright guys, so after removing all of the locks and putting our K26 spring in here, we got a good solid average improvement of 11 FPS. Probably could have put a little more K26 in if we'd have wallowed out the plunger head just a little bit more. I think we're probably still getting a little extra friction on that, but we went from a 104 average to a 115, so I find that to be very solid, very equitable, and it's operating just so smoothly. With the locks removed, you know, now we can fully deprime the blaster and everything like that. I call it a very successful set of mods. So let me know what you guys think. If you haven't done it yet, please hit that subscribe button, throw us a like, remember to comment below. Guys, our email address, fan mail address, Facebook, and Etsy shop are in the description box below. Always remember to check those out. Till next time, this is Chris for Project Nerf saying have a blast.